Hello, it's Wednesday, I think, right? About 7:30, is that correct? Yes. Evening time, finished my work for today mostly. Catching some sunlight, going on a walk. There's a construction site, very interesting. I have no idea what they're doing. Maybe it's putting in some concrete. It looks like it's, those stones that you put in as an insulation or something. Yeah, actually quite boring. So yeah, I think today it's a good idea to make this live about the boring things, exploring the fun in the boring, deep dive on the boring details of life. Maybe we start with some observation of cars, maybe like a meditation. See, now when you talk about it, there are no cars, but there is one. Just noticing how they're driving. It's kind of soothing, right? It's like a city meditation. Cars driving, people are walking, I'm walking, everything is in motion. We're alive, happy to be alive. It's good to be alive. Some days it's not so pleasant to be alive, on other days it's better. There's an up and down motion, right? People rushing, young people rushing. When people get older, they still want to rush, but they can't rush anymore. Or maybe they don't want to rush, but they're in the habit of rushing, right? Which is interesting, which brings me to how people derive their sense of self-worth, right? If you're somebody who trains themselves to feel worthy when you can perform, when you can create something, when you're productive, and then you're sick, maybe you know that, right? That's some pattern of mine, me, Lucas pattern. Oh, the sun, look how beautiful. It's worth it, not looking at the cars, just looking at the sun getting run over by this white monster car which is driving by really close. It's a taxi. Good insurance, hopefully, if it hits me. But it's worth it, the sun, beautiful. We're going to catch it. Yeah, you're not really going to catch it. If you're watching this, you are going to get some blue light, especially in the evening. If you watch this in the evening, it's really going to mess up your sleep. So I'm sorry for that. I don't take any responsibility for it. It's your call. Like I said, promoting self-responsibility, the choices of free individuals, I promote that. So you have to decide. But no, kidding aside, blue light is really bad. And there has been some, and I'll get back to to this, where do you derive your sense of self-worth? What happens when you get sick, right? And now the green environment, you're ready for an upgrade, oh yes, this is good. I can feel it, just, nature, that's what a little city boy like me is like, oh, this is nature, like a few trees, 3 trees, a little bit of grass that is trimmed, and like, yes, I'm in nature, Oh, I would be so lost if I'd actually go into nature. I'd be like, oh, where's the, where can I plug in my phone, right? Where's the electricity here? Looking at the trees, like, what's going on here? No, actually, I like nature. Like actual nature. I think I need more nature in my life. Okay. So, but going back to we had the self-worth, the blue light, right? There was some discussions about, okay, is it actually the blue light? Everyone was like, yes, blue light is so bad for you. Blue light in the evening, it messes up your melatonin, suppresses your melatonin. Then they were like, no, it's not actually the blue light. It's also other parts of the spectrum, of the light spectrum. But I'm like, and this is because it's always about buzzwords, right? You need some buzzword to funnel the attention, and then it gets kind of like in, and people are like, oh, it's the blue light, it's the blue light. And it promises basically an improvement to your life. Oh, if I can fix this, there's this problem I didn't know of, the label blue light, and now we can talk about it. Now there's the promise of value, right? They say flirting is the promise of sex, but is the insinuation of sex, but there's no guarantee. The promise of sex, but no guarantee. So it's like you're not sure. So blue light is the promise of a problem, and a benefit for your life without the guarantee. You're not sure, what is it going to do? Does it apply to me? So that's why these labels are so powerful, and like people capitalize on them. I just read a thread on X that was like, right now is the best time to write a book on the, what is it called, carnivore diet, right? I have been on the carnivore diet for some time, well, only beef, nothing else. Beef and salt, right? And it's interesting, it's a very ketogenic diet. I was working at that time, I was working a lot. It messed up my hormones, had a lot of cortisol in the evening, also working late, which was not ideal, right? But it really messed up my sleep. I had great energy. I was like jogging, I was like, it feels like very primal. So I thought, yes, this is working. But it screwed up my sleep, and I've reintroduced carbs since then a little more. But yeah, I read this article and it was like, there's these books. You should write the book on carnivore right now. And it gave like a step-by-step plan. Here's how you analyze best book covers. It's a buzzword. You just have to self-publish on Amazon. And it basically carries itself because it's so trendy, right? And this is how it works, because people think, okay, there's this new thing, this new trend, this cool, whatever, carnivore diet or the blue light, I need to fix this. And people are drawn to that. And oftentimes the reality is more nuanced, like with the blue light, right? And then you start doubting it. You're like, hey, this is the cool diet. But then there's people like, no, don't do the carnivore diet. You will completely mess up your LDL cholesterol, right? And then there's other people saying, no, if you have high cholesterol, that's only bad if a person has an unclean diet. If you have this high level of cholesterol, and a lot of people are like zooming out now, they're like, what the fuck is he talking about? All this diet stuff. And maybe you're wondering, you're like, okay, carnivore diet, is monkey flesh, is that part of the carnivore diet? And I have to say, I'm not an expert on that, as like I said, I don't eat monkey meat. So maybe there is the idea for a book there, the monkey carnivore diet. It sounds really nice, kind of. It's very evil. I don't want to write this book. Sorry for giving you that idea. I don't take any responsibility if you turn that into a book, and if monkeys die or, bad things happen. I'm not liable for this. This is just expressing my personal opinion. And yeah, I should get a lawyer probably if I continue making these videos. I think that's going to be a good investment. I will have to research. But anyways, right? So there's these trends, and then you get confused because people are like, what's the right diet? Is this the right diet? Is it veganism? Is it paleo? Is it whatever, a carnivore diet? What is the right diet? Which one is going to solve all my problems? And I can finally be who I want to be because I take this external thing and I prop myself up with it. It solves all my problems, right? This is the secret desire of people. And sadly, that's true. We want the magic pill. I want it too. If you have the magic pill and you can send it to me in the DMs, please do it. I want it. I'm not kidding. If you have it, please send it over. I will be so grateful. And yeah, but then we get confused, right? We're like, no, maybe it's not right. And then the problem is we do nothing, right? We're like, no, the research on nutrition is so inconclusive. So I have a great idea. I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to change nothing about my diet. I'm not going to make any improvements because science isn't clear anyways. Let's wait until science has absolute clarity, and then I can take a decision and make a change. The issue with that is science is never going to be completely clear on those things. Maybe not for, I don't know, quite a few years, because human body is rather complex. The human mind especially is very complex. So it's like it will be hard to achieve a very clear line, like a straight line, clear directions, right? So we have to not only manage a field that is extremely nuanced, very complex, but at the same time we have biodiversity. Each body is different. You have different history. Great, we managed the risk of another crossing here. We have biodiversity. Your body really might respond differently than that of another person. And I mean, that doesn't help you to make a change, right? Because it's overwhelming. It's like, what do I do? You know, there's all these people. They just, oh my God, that tree just attacked me. I think it should be cut down. I think it will be cut down anyways, because they're going to build here. That satisfies me. Tree is going to be cut down. It will receive the necessary punishment for the offense that it has made. I have nothing against trees, but I don't think trees are living things and the same thing as sentient beings. That is just my belief. So the tree doesn't feel anything, and I harbor no bad feelings against it, not anymore, and I have no remorse, because I know it's going to be cut down, right? So it's all fair. So the complexity makes you not do anything oftentimes, right? If you're confused and overwhelmed, you gravitate towards inaction, right? And I mean, it's understandable, but oftentimes in life and in business, you don't have all the answers, right? Or you're committing to a person, you get to know somebody, you're like, should I, commit to this person? Should I spend more time with this person or not? Sometimes that's not clear. You don't know, you can't know how it's gonna turn out, right? And oftentimes painful experiences are great learning experiences. I know that you wanted to hear this. It's a very comforting truth of life. You're welcome. I'm giving you some uplifting life advice here. You're very welcome. Oh, the sun. Just enjoy that for a bit. Yeah, the moment I said that, it's going away. No, it's back. Okay. Yes. Oh, and by the way, having a dog, that's an amazing way that you can get yourself motivated to do more walking, or you can just pick up your phone and talk into your phone. For the lack of actual living companion, friends, people that care about you, just the camera is a good replacement, I think. Doesn't talk back, never argues. You're always positive, and you start to see yourself in a new light, right? So these buzzwords pull people in. Complex truth. Coming back to the blue light. Is it the blue light? Is it not the blue light? One way I found to still make decisions when there is a complex set of facts, very nuanced truth. The way to do it is to arrive at a conclusion, and for me, basically make a decision, simplify. And for me, with regards to phones in the evening, I don't care if it's the blue light, it's the orange light, If you turn the phone off, there is no light, right? No phone, no light. I don't do that 100%, but I've gotten a lot better over the years. There's still room for improvement, right? But no phone means no light, and no light means no melatonin repression. No melatonin repression means better sleep. Unless your neighbors are very noisy. I had noisy neighbors over the years that made a lot of noises. People are engaging in intercourse, people shouting, fighting with each other, people listening to loud music, people watching TV at the volume where you think, this is great, thank you very much. I can also clearly hear what the person in the TV is saying for free. Brilliant, not paying any fees, Now in Austria we have these amazing fees. They were like, we have television. Usually they were always checking. They were like knocking, like, do you have a television? Do you have a television, right? Pay us some money. I never had a television that I used. I had a television once, That was from a very good, from a good friend of mine, an acquaintance, a friend of my ex-girlfriend, I think. And he didn't use it anymore, and it's huge. It was like this, like, mega, but the old one, not the flat one, the proper one, right? The 30, 40 kilo monstrosity. And I took that. I was like, no, maybe I can use it, which was a stupid idea. If somebody offers you such a huge television, don't accept it. You probably won't need it unless you're collecting that, or you want to, take it apart, build something with it, maybe a rocket, some whatever you can build from that, some interesting stuff, a robot. No, probably these parts are too old to build anything useless. But yeah, maybe some people, they collect them. They just like it, like a relic from our past, being like, this is the cradle of civilization, the cradle of Western civilization, and you hold it, you can hug it. When it was on for some time, it's warm even. You can, touch it, get very close to it, right? And you also have the blue light, of course, from it emanating like a soothing, a bathe, how you call it, a shower of blue light. Very pleasant. And it suppresses your melatonin and really fucks you up, right? Like watching TV, watching the news. And I'm in marketing, right? I'm in personal branding. I know that you have to formulate things in a certain way to catch people's attention. It's no secret. And it's no secret that the media is making money off your attention. So it wants to keep your attention. How do you keep somebody's attention? Well, you scare them. I think that's the primary one, right? You scare them. You keep them in an anxious state. You basically give them the impression that, oh, you have to watch what's going on. Because if you're not, you're missing out. FOMO, right? You're missing out. I haven't watched the news in many years. I'm not missing out. I know about the most important things. I don't know everything that's going on in the news, and that is fantastic. Please don't tell me about it. If you want to tell me about it, I will be pretty much annoyed, basically, right? Hey, there's someone joining. So fantastic. Joining me on my walk. Kesha, yes. Oh my God, a second person. Now I'm getting nervous. I forgot what I said. I think I'm going to stutter a little bit, but it's fine. Those are old friends. They've known me for many years. They know everything about me. And yes, there's even a woohoo in the chat. Oh my God. Feeling like a celebrity. I have my pulse is going up now. I can feel it. Need to walk slower. So yeah, like the blue light, the TV, okay. And coming back to what I wanted to say previously, after wrapping this up, if you have repeating it now, if you have a complex set of data, you need to make a decision, business decision, life decision. You don't have the information. The information you get is conflicting. Well, you need to make up your mind and simplify. That's what I'm doing, at least. Because that way you can at least take a decision, and if you don't make a decision, you can't fail. Failing is really important for succeeding. And that was a big lesson for me that I didn't want to hear. I still don't want to hear it, but it's coming back. It's like circling, like a bird that shits on your head, and it's coming back, it circles, and it does it again, and you're like, fuck off, right? But it keeps coming back, and there is a lesson there, it's persistent. Life is persistent, not because it hates us, it's because it loves us. I believe that. Why do I believe that? Because I feel better that way. Is that delusional? I don't know. I don't care. I think it's a good attitude to some degree. Maybe not getting too delusional, not like you hurt yourself. You're like, oh, life is good for me, life is loves me or whatever, right? Maybe if you're a masochist, you feel that way. You like, you like hurting yourself, and you're like, oh yes, life loves me. It shows it by punishing me. You know, yeah, that's a scary thought. Maybe some people, they feel like that. It's fine. I'm not judging here. If that turns you on, you know, I'm not judging. There's no problem. But let's not talk about it anymore, I think, because let's just enjoy this beautiful, the scenery here. The Danube, you know, it's been flowing for many years before I was alive. It's gonna flow after I'm alive. Now it's getting very deep, very philosophical. I think this is going to be the best live ever. Very, very philosophical. And I have a feeling it's going to, yeah, it's going to be immensely valuable. And maybe I should even stop talking, just the nature shot, you know, just soaking that in. The blue light from the phone hitting your eyes, you know, if it's evening, very good, very bad for your sleep. But coming back to what I wanted to explore before is building an identity that is connected to working a lot, building an identity that is connected to maybe pleasing other people, right? And especially one example that I know is defining myself by my ability to work hard. You know, I think I was kind of raised as like, you need to work hard, you know, need to try really hard, do things perfectly. Thanks for fucking me up. No, just kidding. I love my parents, I really do. I think they have done a great job raising me, a father and myself. It's not easy to be a father, a mother to a child, but it's a very rewarding thing. Very rewarding, yes. And yeah, but what happens if you get welded, let's say, to such an identity? You're like, okay, I work hard, and then you get sick, or you can't work, and like, shit, you know, where is my self-worth? Maybe you know that experience. Maybe it's connected with success. You're like, I need to be successful. If I'm not successful, I'm nothing, right? The problem with that is, and I've seen an interview by Steve Bartlett, right? The Diary of the CEO guy. And he was talking about what motivated him to become successful. And he was basically saying that it was, and they call that away from motivation, right? You want to avoid something. You're like, I don't want this, right? And he basically had a very hard time when he was younger. He didn't have any money, and he was like, fuck this. This is not the life I want to live. Like, and a lot more intense, like I'm saying it right now. Like, he had a transformative emotional experience where he was really drawing a line in the sand, right? But in the interview, he was talking about how that is still driving him. So it's fuel, right? It's driving you. It's driving you to perform. It's driving you to achieve things, but it might be what they called it in the interview. It might be toxic fuel, right? So it's not clean fuel. It's like you have an engine. The engine runs on a, what do you call it? Propellant? No, the fuel. And wow, sporty, like it. And you have some whatever dirty particles in there. You have too much oil in there. I don't know. You have sand in there, and it screws up the engine, and it's not a clean fuel source. Yeah, I find that concept really interesting. Exploring our motivations, and I found it very challenging to switch to the positive motivation. Because if you're not used to having that positive motivation, it's hard to get that, right? And it's connected to all the levels. You need to have like an identity that fits with it, long-term goals, and you need to think that you can actually achieve that. And I tried a lot of the manifestation, visualization stuff, and for me it never really clicked, right? In the way that I wanted it to click. I was like, when is finally the manifestation happening? You know? Which is not what you're supposed to do if you're manifesting, right? No, don't do it. Yeah, but what the fuck else are you supposed to do, right? Yeah, like, you want it to happen. That's so counterintuitive, right? You know, it's like with women. You're like, yes, I want to have sex. And like, no, It's, you have to just enjoy the flow of it, you know, be completely without, and it's a paradox, right? Life is full of paradoxes. Be completely in the flow, outcome independent, you know, have no expectations. Well, of course, people get expectations, right? Of course you get expectations. But yeah, that's an interesting one, you know. Having intention without being attached. Kind of, you're still kind of attached, because why else do you have the intention, right? If you don't have the intention, then, you know, you're not even gonna do anything in that direction, right? So with manifesting, I mean, right? Not with the sex example. You were probably thinking about the sex example. You were like all the time like, oh yes, the sex example, tell me more about that. No, it's not about this, you know. This life is not about that. I don't want to talk about that too much. There's more important things, right? Have freedom from outcome, like I say, right? Let it go. It's fine. Like with the ice cream. I said yesterday, those people that were so excited, you know, in their cars, they were honking, dude, they really wanted to get the ice cream, really destroy their health, you know. It's fine. But freedom from outcome, right? For everyone, you know, even animals. But they can't do it, right? I think they can't do it. One, because if you kill the monkey and if you eat it, it doesn't do anything anymore, right? Which is horrible, don't do that. I don't know why I'm coming back to that. I think I'm just kind of trying to be entertaining here. Yeah, I'm doing my best, really. I'm sorry if you're not entertained. Maybe you take a look here. I can do that, or I could do interviews with people. I could be like chatting people up, interviewing them about their life. I think yeah, that person smiled back, so nice. And yeah, maybe interact with some people. I think that might be interesting to do that. So this is my route. It's my favorite route. This is my favorite spot here. It's so open, right? Like you have the Danube here flowing towards Krems in Austria, which is where my grandmother lives, which I should visit this year. Again, I haven't visited her in some time. And this is towards the Black Sea. You know, if I jump in there into the Danube now, I'll swim a little and then I'm probably going to die. But my dead body is going to be swept into the Black Sea, which is a very comforting idea, I think. Or a depressing one. I think it's more a depressing one. But if you have a ship is better because you don't die. So you can take a ship all the way to the Black Sea. And actually, I remember, I had like a kind of a date. I had a friend a few years back, many years back, you know. In my mind, it's like, this last 4 or 5 years back. And I'm like, hey, your son is 8. I'm like, oh, right, 8. And then I start thinking and I'm like, holy shit, time has really flown by, very, very much so, yes. And it is still, you know, you can see the sun, it's slowly setting. As we continue on our journey, the sun will continue to set. Can you say that? It's going to go down, right? So time is passing at this very moment. How do you want to spend your time, right? How do you want to spend your time in your life? Are you happy with how you're spending your time, right? So anyways, I had this friend and I really had the hots for her. She was very pretty. She was very tall, but she was like, no. Lucas, no. And I was like, yes. No. And it's so very frustrating. Young me, you know, I didn't have the freedom from outcome. I kind of did my best to display the floor is kind of like changing here. I have to put in a complaint with the local authorities. I think it's dangerous. It messed up my life. You know, you had this shaking. Like usually that doesn't happen. You know, you see my hand is very stable, very controlled, controlling the angles, you know, beautiful, right? But this thing in the floor, it like was going like this. It's not okay. No, report the technical problem here. It's because I was shaking my phone, right? No, go away. Good. Yes, I want to report the technical problem, but it's a different kind of technical problem. It's a problem with the quality of the concrete, right? But we shouldn't complain. It's great that this bridge is here. I'm grateful. See, the lesson today, transmute your anger, your frustration into gratitude. It's positive, right? Good. Yes. And it's funny. It sounds ridiculous when I say this like that, right? You're like, oh yeah, he's making a joke. But literally, this is the work that I've put in over the years to recondition my depressed and negative mind. And these patterns that because I'm just sharing, I'm free flowing, I'm like blah, 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 comes out, whatever is in my mind with a few dark thoughts that are like over there with the monkeys, like, and I'm like, no, don't, Lucas, don't say that. Don't let him out. Don't let the Iron John, they call it, the story. Oh my God. I watched the video yesterday. I'll come back to no, let's wrap it up. It's too much. I must apologize, Let's return to a more professional format. Yes. Let's wrap up the concrete. Basically, what my mind is doing, and because I'm sharing it with you like this is actually happening in real time in my mind, I'm like negative thought, and I'm like, no. What's the positive here? Let's be grateful, right? I'm not doing this just for show. This is how I've conditioned my mind, right? And it's very useful. It takes quite some time to recondition yourself from a negative mindset to a more positive one. And it's really worth it because your mind keeps doing it, which is the amazing thing when you can learn something, a skill, and you can start stacking them, right? And you basically get to a point where your people go like, oh, wow, like, how do you do that? And it's basically, I'm not saying that people say that to me because no, of course they say that all the time. I get so many people talk to me here when I walk. It's just not when I'm with the camera, but usually they come up to like, wow, you're so amazing, which is also why I'm like, my self-esteem is very high at the moment. But right now I'm kind of feeling the lack of that. I'm like, where is the attention, It's like, I don't feel comfortable here, right? Where is the attention that I so rightly deserve? It's not here, apparently, maybe behind the bushes. I don't want to go in there. One, because maybe there's like thorns and stuff. The second reason is, as you can see, people do their business in there, the kind of business you don't want to step into. You don't want to intrude in that. I mean, not as they're doing it. That's not a good thing. I don't want that. But also once they're done, okay, we don't need to be so detailed with that. But that's my imagination. It's just, over there with the monkeys, there's some version of me that is just very free flowing, right? And coming back to what I initially said, and at the end I'll come back to the self-esteem thing and what I have to say about that, like getting your value from doing work, maybe some identity that you develop, getting your value from pleasing other people, limiting your behavior. You're like, if I don't please this other person, oh my God, this feels bad, I cannot do that. That is not good for you because you're afraid of saying, fuck off. You can't say that, right? Some person, not that you have to say that. And I mean, don't say that, right? And don't tell anyone that I told you to say that either, That's not good. I don't want to be responsible. I need to remember this sentence. I take no liability for what you do with the information that you receive here. It's only my personal opinion. It is not scientific fact. No doctor's opinion. Consult your physician or something along these lines. I think you can get it. Yes. I probably shouldn't have botched that. It needs to be correct. If I had a lawyer, my lawyer would be like, no, Lucas, you say that wrong. You need to stick to the script. Because if you say it wrong, it's not in front of the court. It's not going to hold, right? So, yeah, but it's a work in progress. You're witnessing the creation of this channel, of this politically incorrect channel. Slightly, only slightly. hopefully. Maybe for some people more, for others less. Some people are like, yeah, it's no problem, Lucas, I eat monkey flesh all the time. I like do really bad things in the world. It's fine, actually, it's a fun way. And when I go for a walk, I like to rub on things that are thorny and it hurts me, the blood starts flowing, and that's really pleasurable, that's fantastic. It's life showing me that it loves me, and I just get a spiritual high from that. If you're that kind of person, you can still watch it. I don't want to meet you. Please don't write me, but be happy on your way, wherever you go. But coming back to this part that is that free-flowing part, right? And I mean, this was a documentary that I watched yesterday. Like today I didn't watch anything. I was mainly writing a thread for my personal brand on an interview between Alex Hormozi. Maybe you know Alex Hormozi. He's an entrepreneur. He's a very intense guy. And Chris Williamson, who is kind of like what was he? He was a club promoter initially, right? And then he turned into like a podcast host, and he's got his nootropic drink, he monetized in another way with a product. Big audience, smart move, do something useful, create a product. So that was a great interview. I wrote the thread on that. Going to publish that tomorrow. But yesterday I was watching a documentary when I should have been working. No, not good. But I still did it. It was still a good investment of my time, right? It's still fine. Still a little guilty, but it's okay. I watched it. It was very good. It was about the myth of Iron John, right? And that is the story. It's basically a story about when you raise a child, and this is for men, right? But it's interesting for women too, because unlike the movement of feminism in some parts of it portrays that women don't need men, it's not true. No. Doesn't work, because, of course, if you're full-blown kind of person that is not interested in men, maybe you don't need men, right? Okay, there's some fringe cases, but for women who like men, it's hard to be without men, unless you're a nun, that's maybe a different situation. But let's not talk about all these fringe cases. I'm sure there's a million fringe cases, and you can come to me and say, Lucas, what are you talking about? There is so many people that don't need men. What are you thinking? We don't need you. Go away, please. Please go away. But for most women, men are relevant, right? And for most men, women are relevant. There is no healthy existence without the other, unless you're a monk, which is a choice, right? Or a nun. I respect that choice. I'm not going to joke about that, because that's a serious topic for me. I think it's very valuable, a very complex topic. And yeah, but women need men need women. And when you diss the other half, you're like, fuck masculinity, you have resistance, you attack it, you are attacking a part of yourself, because men are women, women are men, not like in a gender transformation or anything, but like the parts of our psyche, right? And if you reject it, if you like, screw masculinity, which is fine, right? It can be a very natural reaction. Maybe you've had bad experiences. Maybe the past millennia, I don't know how long that was, experience of patriarchy, men doing some very harmful things, which is, I'm not going to say it's not the fault of men or anything, pushing away responsibility or something like that, but if you have a lot of power, it's easy to abuse that power, But yeah, so I see it as like a symbiosis, right? There is a positive relationship. Each of us is what is it called? A whole-on, right? A whole-on. Each person is a whole, but it's part of like a bigger system. And I think there is this system of family, man, woman, you know, and making children, having offspring, caring for each other, caring for your offspring, all these things. But even on the psychological level, right? And now we have to be thrifty here so we don't bump into anybody. Fantastic. So if you attack it, if you criticize it, you're attacking a part of yourself, and it's going to be harmful for yourself, right? And for other people too. But I understand that might make sense, or might be a natural emotional reaction if you've been hurt in the past. It's totally understandable. I have no judgment. I just don't like people who attack me. So my dates with feminist women, they have gone very wrong. In the past, there was not really a great connection, right? So, I mean, because I like to make jokes sometimes that are, maybe you've noticed, that aren't the most sensitive, because I don't like that. Because I think if you're too sensitive, right? And I've talked about that with a friend of mine. There was like, we had a conversation about the phrase of being trauma aware, right? So, the idea is you have a person and they have had trauma at some point, and now you tiptoe around them. And we were talking about, and she shared that when you do that, when you tiptoe around the person, you take away their power of being able to deal with challenging situations. If you're like, no, like you have a fear of spiders, right? I'm like, no, never a spider. I mean, I'm not going to push it in your face, but I'm going to be like, you know, let's approach the growth edge, you know. You have potential, you can grow beyond your old patterns. But if I'm treating you in a way that doesn't allow you to do that, like I'm a helicopter parent, right? I'm like, no, you stay here, stay safe, little person, right? No, I will always be there, and you know, so nothing happens. Don't spill that. I will help you with everything, right? It's screwed up, it screws up the child. So I think that's bad for people as well. And I think it's bad for people who are easily offended, because if they're easily triggered and offended, and I'm not saying offending them is going to help. That's not what I'm saying. Attacking them is going to help. I don't think so. But if they live in a fly. If I live in an environment that doesn't challenge me, I atrophy, right? That's what the muscles do. You don't exercise them. They're like, whoop, ooh. They're like, muscles go away, right? And our brain works in a similar way. And it's a similar principle to memory formation. And let's say, and that one concept I want to link this to, which is active recall, right? If you passively read something, if you passively learn something, it is different. And there have been studies on that, not done by me, but by some eminent people who are versed in how the brain works. I'm not versed in that, to that level. Sadly, I would like to be, maybe one day I will be. But what they found out is that actively recalling it kind of kickstarts your brain, or it encourages your brain to mark that up, to remember that, because, oh, you want to use that, it's important, right? Whereas if you just read it, it's like in at one ear, out at the other ear. Dog is barking. As you can notice, I'm like looking if there's some danger. Like I told you, I have a little problem there, differentiating dog and cat behavior, because the wagging of the tail indicates a different disposition of the animal, which is kind of scary, right? You don't know what's going to happen, because they do different things when the tail wags, you know. With the dog, apparently it's good, although I don't fully trust that. And with the cat, I fully trust that it's bad if the tail is wagging, you know, and especially if the ears are down. That's a sure sign that it's a bad idea to do anything with that cat. Like I told you yesterday, and, you know, just hearing that, it's not going to form that memory. But if today, in the evening, when you go to bed, you're like, what did Lucas say about the cat, the cat's tail and the dog's tail? And you try to remember it, you know. I don't know why you would do that. Maybe it's like in the under the topic of survival knowledge, right? Just how to survive in the world. Good knowledge. Maybe I should do a show about that. Would be interesting. But if you do that, you're going to remember it better than if you wouldn't have recalled it, right? Yeah, but anyways, I was watching this documentary and it was really interesting. And that was basically what I was talking about the last 15 minutes. Is I was trying to say why this is interesting for women as well, you know. While I was talking, if any women were watching, they were probably like, what the fuck is he talking about? And they tuned out. They were like, stop the video, reported me or whatever happened, right? Because I talked about a few touchy subjects. So I'm not sure if I achieved the objective of keeping the viewers, retaining the viewers. Maybe not. But I don't have any bad feelings about that because I'm not getting paid to do this. Not yet. You can pay me if you want, right? I won't say no to it. But please don't send me any pictures that are like weird pictures. And then if you pay me, you can maybe send a picture. I'm not going to look at it. I'm just going to take the money and be like, you know, I'm not going to open that. You can do both. As long as you send money, you can send the pictures, but I'm not going to look at them, right? So let's do it like this. I think that's a good deal for both sides. You have kind of the satisfaction. You sent it, whatever you send. I won't know because I won't look at it. And I'll have the money. I'm happy. You're happy. You know, we're both happy, which is, I think, the goal of life, right? Cooperation. And so basically, this story, Iron John, it's about you raise a child, right? The child is innocent. There is an innocence, right? And when the child is on the brink of becoming a man, there are some changes that happen. And in older cultures, right, there was an initiation, you know, initiation rituals. Children being taken away from their parents and introduced into the male, what do you call it, population, part of the tribe, right? And why did they do that? Not to kind of make them cry because they're happy when the children cry and they're separated from their mothers. No, but to take away the influence of the parents. I mean, probably of the mother primarily, but also of the father, I guess. And to allow that child to form an independent identity on their own as a man, no longer a child, but a man. And it basically explored that myth with some psychological. If you're interested, I can send you that video. Just send me a message. You know, please don't send any image in that message. Maybe if you send the money and like a weird image, you can first say, I've sent you money. And if I read that, I think there's a preview. I'm like, okay, this one I'm not gonna open, right? That's better then. But if you want the video, I can send it to you. And it's a really interesting video, especially if you're wondering, you know, why are so many men today depressed? Why are men weak? So many men are weak. You know, women want stronger men. Women earn more than men. Like statistically, have better education. What's going on, you know? And I also read one thing that's I found really beautiful. I shared that on X, and that was, if there is to be a men's movement, now I'm botching it up. It's such a great quote. Shouldn't do that. Just bringing back the professionalism. That's a huge garage. Jesus Christ, you know. Like, what kind of car goes in there? Like not a very tall, but a broad one, you know. Interesting. So the quote goes, if there is to be a men's movement, if there is to be a men's movement, it has to be inspired by women. Just letting that land. If there is to be a men's movement, it has to be inspired by women. And that doesn't mean the women have to do anything. They have to be like, come on, make the men's movement, right? Whoa, let's do it. No, I don't mean it like that. But I think people underestimate what a big driver women are for male motivation. And we can say it's sexual, but I don't think it's only sexual, you know. I think it's on many levels. And yeah, women are very important to men, you know. Maybe I don't know, maybe more important than women, because it's the whole mother connection. I don't know if women are reversed. They're like, no, men are more important. Actually, I have no idea. I'm not a woman. I'm not going to become a woman, you know. I'm against changing my gender. I'm very happy with my gender, which is good. I guess it's difficult if you have doubts there. I feel a sense of empathy even talking about this. I usually don't explore this topic. There's some saliva on my screen, just cleaning that off. It's better now. Yeah, it was distracting me. And not saying that women need to do something, but that we're underestimating the power of female inspiration, right? Because I mean, men and women, they embody something, right? There is this whole thing of archetypes. There is this whole male-female dynamic. There's this whole, spiritual, esoteric thing. What is it called? The Way of the Superior Man. I think it's a beautiful book. My last girlfriend, she didn't like it, right? She just didn't like the language. Different people, different ideologies. But I think it's a very interesting way to hint at the layer that is deeper than the surface layer, Being a woman doesn't mean boobs and that's it. Being a man doesn't mean like strong muscles and that's it. No, there's deeper principles. There's a flow in the energy. There's like an essence there, right? And I think men are aspiring and they're very goal-driven usually, right? There's feminine men. I think I'm kind of a feminine man, trying to be more masculine, working on that. I think it's better for me. But I also have very feminine parts, which is interesting. And some men, they have more feminine, some less, some women have more feminine parts, some more masculine. Again, the alarm is coming. I don't want that. Please go away. So, yeah, now it interrupted my train of thought. Maybe I should shake it again and report the problem, but it was my personal alarm. Somebody joined. Hey, it's so nice. An EMT. Oh my God, I haven't seen you guys for a long time. I'm happy you're here. And please don't leave. Please stay. You're my only viewer in this live. Please don't leave now. It would be very bad for me. I would feel very bad. I don't know if I learned the tools. I learned some tools back in this. I know you from a self-development program, right? I learned some tools, but I don't think they will be able to help me deal with this. If you leave, it wouldn't be good, right? Please stay. Please don't leave, right? I will take it very personally if you leave now. And yeah, please stay. Please. So here's the tobacco, thing, selling their poison. I don't buy that. I sometimes used to smoke cigarettes. But yeah, I've quit caffeine and nicotine. They're not good for me, right? But coming back to the Iron John metaphor, coming back to why are men so weak? Women complaining, feminism, and especially that quote that I shared, if there is to be a men's movement, it has to be inspired by women, not in the sense that women have to do anything, but that we just have to acknowledge that as men, women inspire us, and that the female energy is incredibly inspiring, and it's, it helps us to channel that goal-directed. Person was like, what the fuck is he talking about? That goal-directed energy, it inspires us. It inspires us to, you can say on the one hand, it's like, oh, we want to impress, you go to the girl and you're like, oh, I'm cool, right? Again, not a technical problem. No, I was just being dynamic. That's me. I feel slightly offended by that message popping up and distracted. So, no, I think it's completely essential to embrace that. And if you've been hurt as a woman, it's hard to embrace masculinity. If you've been hurt as a man, it's hard to embrace femininity as such an important driver in your life, right? And when you reject it, you stunt your own development, you stunt your own drivers, like what drives you in life, right? Thank you very much. The car is letting me pass. And yeah, so that's why I watched this documentary, the Iron John documentary. I found it fascinating. especially how fables, I think that's the word in English, Märchen, that's it in German, Eisenhans. Oh my God, I don't like the sound of that, but that's the German, thing. I'm rejecting German, but I have to talk it with some people. I have to talk German. I really want to be an English person, right? I want to be wasn't there a song? I want to be I don't know what that was. My memory is not so good. Wasn't applying the active recall there, apparently. So, yeah, I think it's beautiful to recognize that. And there's another thing that comes up because I have someone from EMF joining, right? There is this, the thing we reject the most in others. That's something that is inviting us, that is beckoning us to look at that. And I think that's definitely the case if, the opposite gender triggers you, right? So I'm not trying to be smart, be like, oh, you need to work on that, No, I don't think that. Yes, very interesting shop that is selling window blinds, It's interesting that you can make money just with blinds. That's maybe an industry I should have gone into, not the coaching, not the writing, selling blinds, because you always need blinds, They don't have blinds. You can sell it to this company. You go in, you say, no, is the sun very hot? You must be sweating. You come in with like a, a ventilator, propeller, whatever, thing that cools them. You're like, can you feel the cool air? They're like, oh yes, wow, it's been hot all day. And you're like, you like it? And they're like, yes, please don't go. And you're like, you can have this all the time. And they're like, what, really? How? And you're like, I'm not sure if I should tell you. It's very exclusive. And they're like, no, please tell us. And you're like, okay, I'm gonna tell you. Come to my shop, I will show you. And you show them the blinds, you show them how cool it is, and they're instantly going to buy, and they're gonna be happier, you're happier, and both parties are happier. I'm actually gonna take another round. I haven't finished my thoughts. I wanna wrap this up. And on the home stretch, the home round bonus. This used to be a really nice shop. It was a Zielpunkt many years ago when I was a little boy. I used to run in there, really innocent. Again, it's not a technical problem, just my dynamic nature. And I used to buy stuff, right? Get some milk from my mother. Oh my God, feeling so proud, little me, doing the shopping. Makes me very, I not say emotional, soft, like you get with a child. I think that's one thing that is really interesting is when you are a parent, you develop this kind of softness because there's this child, you need to protect it. You get it with a dog, maybe, right? Oh, my little cute dog, right? But it's different. I'd say a dog and a cat, and the disclaimer, not giving life advice, but a dog or a cat, not a replacement for a child. It can be kind of a substitute, but I don't think it's healthy to do that, to treat it as a child. I sometimes see people, they drive with their dog in a baby carriage, and I'm looking, I'm expecting to see a baby, and there's the dog in there, and it freaks me out a little bit, to be honest, right? There's this image of the dogs playing poker, right? The poker playing dogs. It's it makes me uneasy. There's a part of me that just, is on guard, right? It's I don't know, right? So, but talking about that, what I actually wanted to say, harking back to the Iron John myth, the raw masculine power, whatever, this kind of very powerful energy. And I think the female energy, or they say the female energy is actually, it's stronger, it's more chaotic. I mean, of course it's stronger because it creates life, feminine principle creates life. Men shape things, they make little tools, they do very important things, they draw boundaries. And this is not diminishing because I think it's the part of a whole, right? Like the hold-ons. It's part of a whole. It's a complete thing. You cannot separate it, right? You cannot say, okay, I'm gonna have an ice cream. Oh, there it is, right? Oh my God, this is such a metaphor, right? You have the ice cream, the cone, right? The cone is strong, sturdy, maybe not that sturdy. Maybe it's a traumatized man, because it breaks, but it tastes sweet. So it's a feminine man, maybe. But in general, it's the principle that holds it, stops it from dripping all over the place, and it allows you to enjoy the ice cream, right? Or the ice cream is like it's held in that thing, right? And we have phallic symbols for masculinity. We have like what's called the cradle, or I don't know if that's the right word, but like this, something that holds it like a cup, for the feminine. Interesting. But if you take the ice cream, you have the cone that's hard. It holds the soft thing, the ice cream. And the ice cream, it's enjoyable. It's full of flavor. It flows, especially in the sun, especially if you don't have any blinds, right? Maybe also for the ice cream parlors, that's like what is it called? You niche down, and then you're hyperniching, right? Hyperniching, doing the blinds for ice cream shops. You can tailor your marketing there. You can really target the pain points, Are your customers in your ice cream store and their ice cream starts melting even before they get out, dripping on your floor. You have to pay extra for the cleaning. Is that a headache for you, Or you get into your store in the morning and the ice cream, it's too soft, because your cooling equipment is not strong enough. You need to buy stronger cooling equipment. No, there's a simple solution, and you give them again demonstration with the fan, they feel the cool air. You give them the whole pitch, right? Because pitch works. We've demonstrated that before at the tattoo salon, and they feel the cool air. They're like, what is it? You're like, I don't know if I want to tell you. It's really exclusive, right? Only a few select customers can benefit from this, and you get them, right? You hook them. Marketing message is completely tailored. They feel understood. They're like, yes, I really have these problems. And you sell them the blinds. Everyone's happy. You have a shit ton of money. You're extremely rich, right? You create a franchise. You're like worldwide, You get really rich, and then you're basically happy, right? I think that's how it works. So, but with the ice cream, right? What if the ice cream doesn't have the cone? It's gonna flow everywhere, right? You can't enjoy the ice cream with the cone, and the ice cream isn't happy either, right? So people get imbalanced, I think, if the energies are out of balance, which is a very complex topic. I can't even start to talk about that, to be honest. Oh, someone joined. Oh, now I'm nervous. Even more nervous than before. Some pretty people are joining. Yes. So wrapping this up is masculine principle. Okay, what happens when we resist that? I know I'm getting a bit in my head now, slightly, but it's still fine. We're selling the blinds. Need to perform now. Oh my! The good thing is I don't see when people leave, when people go. Right? Maybe I can see it up there. Oh my God, are they leaving? I don't know. Oh my God. Yeah. Like I think I'm having a panic attack, but I'll fake it, And another interesting thing I read about that was about the women have a mask, men have a mask, women have a mask for the reason because they cannot, this links it. Now it's here. My brain is a very good brain. I fed it with good stuff, like omega-3, very good diet, very good exercise is good for the brain. And yeah, I'm very, very pleased with that. Please treat your brain nicely. Brain and heart is connected. Everything that's good for your heart is good for your brain. So men have a mask, women have a mask. A mask is how we want to be perceived in a social context. And there's reasons for that, right? Women don't want to be, I talked about this in I think the first or the second live about slut shaming. What is slut shaming? Slut shaming, and I said, okay, that's something that women do. Primarily, there's research on that. Slut shaming is attacking or what is it called? Saying that another woman is very promiscuous in order to reduce her perceived, and these are terms, like these terms, hate these terms. There's the whole red pill community. I'm not red pill, I'm not against women. Like I said before, I think it's stupid. I think men need women need men. Without women, people wouldn't be here, so how can you be against women? Without men, we wouldn't be here, Women are protected by men. Not today, maybe someday from robots. maybe women develop some kind of kink for robots at that time, because they're like, oh, you're my protector, and the robot is like, beep, 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 beep. And like, maybe that happens. I don't know. Maybe Elon Musk will be involved in that, because there's a shitload of money to be made. I don't know. Let's not talk about it. But there is the face, the mask that we wear. Women have to wear a mask because they cannot openly portray their sexuality, because, for the one thing, there's the whole thing with slut shaming, with the perceived value. They need to be like, okay, I'm exclusive, I'm selective, and it's frowned upon if women freely exhibit their sexuality, which is interesting, because now we're in a time where, like I posted on my ex, there was like an ad that was going like, sleep well with whomever, right? There was an ad for like pillows or something. And I was like, what the fuck is that? There is an ad talking about sex, and there's children on the street, right? And it's by a company that is with the I and with the K and blue and yellow. I think you know what I mean. If you have ever assembled like a furniture and had a lot of frustration and pain with that, or maybe a beautiful experience if you're a very smart person. I've had my share of experiences with these things. Assembly, I'm not a good assembly person. Yeah, please don't ask me to do that. Or actually, I'm not bad, but yeah, I think with the right person, it can work. If you bribe me, if you give me some money. Again, a good reminder, if you want to send the money, like I said, you can send the money, I'm happy. But if you want to send some weird pictures, like I said, you say, and the money, of course. If you only send weird pictures, that's hurtful, don't do that. But if you need to you feel the need to send some weird pictures to me, with the money, write the message. You're like, I've sent the money, here's the weird pictures, I'll see the preview, I won't even open it, I get the money, you get to send that, whatever you need to get off your chest, right? You just send it, I won't look at it, we're both happy, right? But talking about the masks, right? So women have this mask, and it's basically how much do you show other people of your real emotions, right? And it's a big thing in these lives. I'm trying to take off that mask. I'm like, wow, screw the mask. I'm just going to be unfiltered to a certain extent, right? I still want to be controlled. I keep the monkeys in a certain part, all the weird ideas. And here it is again, they're like, this is the construction site. They have a lot of stones there. A lot of them, right? Oh my God. I kind of have this slight desire to just jump on that, but yeah, let's, oh my God. Yeah, let's not do that. I'll just walk quickly before I get overpowered by that playful need. Which is interesting. It connects to what I said before with the Iron John, that old fable, that tale, there is a part of us that is uncontrolled, that is like wild. And people judge us for that. At the same time, people are attracted to that, right? Because they can't go there. Like if a person really lets loose, like you have like a dancing competition, you're having fun, you're out, right? And there's one person that is just boom, like unhinged, complete self-expression, right? It's interesting, it's attractive, it's entertaining. We're drawn to that because we want that freedom. We don't want to be constricted. We don't want to be like small little robots in like small little robot in a little cubicle. We don't want that. And I'm always using that. I'm not especially against cubicles. Maybe there's some nice cubicles, whatever. I don't like shared working environments. It's like somebody talks here, then somebody here, somebody goes by you. You get the touch here, then you go there, then there's a notification on the computer. My productivity is like when I'm working in a shared space. Thank you. I am switching context enough already. I don't need support in switching context. So no shared working environment for me. But it is something that we want. We want that freedom. We want that expressiveness. We want that flow, right? And yeah, that's part of what happens when we take off that mask. And the interesting thing that this article was speaking about was that it's very attractive for a man if a woman can take off the mask, right? that if the woman is like basically freely expressing her deepest emotions, just completely connected, like just letting it flow basically, right? And being vulnerable and all those things, of course that requires trust and a lot of other things, and you have to feel safe with yourself, with the other person, in the environment, you know, of course. But then it said something interesting. It said that men, when you have men, they also have this mask, but it is expected that the mask is kept on because it's part of a man's kind of like, and this is clear in the cone, right, that we talked about, the ice cream cone, right? It needs to keep that frame, you know, because otherwise the ice cream falls down and it's like shit, right? So in a relationship, if the man is like not the cone, you know, the ice cream falls down and it falls in another cone, maybe. Okay, I'm not kidding here. That's actually pretty much what happens, and there's no one there that you can blame, because it's a natural. Like I had another tweet on X. I was like, if you fight against the nature of things, you're only gonna end up with a life of conflict, right? You can't fight the nature of things. You can't fight the nature of women. You can't fight the nature of men. You can't change your partner in the end. It's like, that's not how it works, right? So I found that interesting, that the man is supposed to keep that mask. And it was a brilliant, I'm reading more on Substack lately. It was a woman that was writing about that, and basically about sexuality and about, so this channel, by the way, it's not for children. If you have children and you find them watching this channel, which I would be surprised if children watch this, but you never know. Maybe you will learn something for life. But when I talk something about some things where you're like, no, do I really want to know this? You know, better like put it away, the phone, you know, do something. Learn chess, it's good for the brain. Go outside, play in the sun. If the parents are watching this, don't let your children watch it. Otherwise, they might start to think for themselves, you know. You don't want that. So it's not a good idea. Don't let them watch this. And so that was my sarcasm, I hope you can tell. But I'll try to keep it, you know, not go too much into these topics. But it's interesting, you know, we're alive. We are, what do you call it? Emotional beings, sexual beings. And like I said, with the whole feng shui of the city, I think there's a lot of masks in our society and not enough spaces where people can let go of those masks. People can let go of those masks when they are intoxicated, but I don't think that's the best way to do that. Well, there's many ways to do that. And I think it's very healthy to learn how to do that. Let go of your masks. Let go of those, how do I want to be perceived and what's actually going on, you know? What happens if I share what's actually going on with me, right? Yeah. Well, I've been talking a lot, yes. Now I'm thinking, oh my God, everyone left. I'm all alone now. It's just me and the phone. I feel the energy is coming down. Yeah, this is also how you can, also how you can solve this, right? I mean, that's a solution. I think that's the competition for the blinds business. Yeah, I don't like this. Something needs to be done, right? I'll mark the spot. No, this is not okay, right? It's not a good solution. It's bad for nature, bad for the climate. Too much electricity. Blinds, they don't take electricity. I think if there's going to be subvention, how do you call it? Like where the government pays, you know, it should be for the blinds, because this is clearly, it's a problem, right? The huge like propeller, what is it called? Like God damn it, what's the word? The fan, huge fan. Imagine how much electricity that's gonna eat up. It's insane. And that shouldn't even be allowed, right? Yeah. And blinds are better. Let's say it as it is. Blinds are the superior solution. If you need a solution for too much sun, buy blinds, right? And that's the problem. If you have niche down on the ice cream shop, you're like, okay, well, I don't want to sell to everyone, right? But maybe you should. Maybe you can make more money that way. But it's like when people come and you're like, you want to buy blinds? And they're like, yeah, I need blinds. You're like, but we only sell to ice cream stores, you know? And they're like, oh, but can't you make an exception? You're like, oh, I don't know, you know, all our customers, they're waiting, you know, we have a long list, they all want to buy blinds from us. But if you pay extra, maybe we can sell you some blinds, right? So then you can actually make more money. I don't know if that's ethical to do that, but you get rich. When you get rich, you get happy. I think that solves a lot of problems, right? You can get somebody to fold your clothes, to clean your apartment. You don't have to do all this manual labor. You basically can just sit around and enjoy yourself. I think, yeah. So wrapping up my thoughts from today, I promised I'm gonna come back to the self-worth thing. What if you define yourself through doing something and then you can't do that thing anymore? Like working a lot. And yeah, actually I think I don't have a clear answer for that. I think I just say observe that, or just observing that, being like, okay, what's going on here? How do I feel when I don't have that? And then stepping into that. And I talked about that in my last live. I was like, if you are afraid to express yourself, if you're afraid to go against the grain is not only outside, the grain is only inside. All the conditioning you have, it's only in your mind. In reality, right? Of course you get triggers from outside, but the conditioning, it's all in your mind, it's all in your brain. And it pays off to lean into the growth edge, as you say, where there's discomfort. So if I want to leave you with one message, lean into the discomfort. Oh my God, someone is smoking weed. Very strong smell. So lean into the discomfort in a direction that is motivated by a deeper purpose. That is a good thing to close this with. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day. I hope you caught some sunlight today. I hope you enjoyed this. Have an amazing day. Sending you lots of love. Thank you for watching. Please give me a like. And please join the next time so I'm not so lonely. I can feel a small tear has formed because everyone left. I'm going to keep that safe, close to my heart. Very emotional day. Take care.